Hi, welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion. Before we get started, I just want to give a quick notation right here. Okay, let's go on with the thing. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about the Black Mirror Star Trek thing. I know it's called USS Callister, but come on, who calls it that? Everybody calls it the Star Trek thing, that's the thing. So here's my opinion. I guess I'll give my opinion on the first one before I give my opinion on the second one. So the first one was great. It had a lot of unique ideas, had a lot of that sci-fi edge, and it had also, if you're a lover of old Star Trek, you will probably enjoy the first one really well. Look even how the poster looks like discount Kirk and Spock and Uhura and all them. Yeah, look at like that's the thing. It looks like discount Star Trek. It has a feel like a discount Star Trek thing, and it doesn't. The thing is that it doesn't feel like it's yelling at Star Trek itself. It just feels like there's that one guy who's using the technology in a creepy AI way, and where he basically imprisons his employee. He basically takes the DNA of his employees in the first one and makes AI avatars for them to be in this Star Trek world that he can basically play around and do whatever he wants in this virtual world. Again, the movie really wants this to be kind of a horrifying thing. I honestly, I could kind of see a Disney World park out of that in the future. The AI, insert yourself in your own AI universe. With this expansion pack now. Um, so after his death, which I gotta say was a sad thing because he was the best character in the show, we get now to the sequel. Now, the sequel has a lot of problems itself, but the biggest problem is, that it wants to be more Star Trek Discovery than it wants to be old Star Trek. It doesn't want to be the Shatner version. It wants to be and the fact I can't think of one of the actors' names besides Paul Wesley is kind of saying something here. You know, that's the thing, is that they were iconic back in the day, and that's what made fans want it. But the problem is this one feels so like it's trying to satirize, like it's trying to appeal more to the modern Trek, and more the fans of the old Trek don't like modern Trek. Google it. They just don't. They just do not like the modern Trek. They don't, and they respond more to older Trek. Now it varies from person to person, the Picard stuff, but we'll get to it. So basically, the plot is she's now the captain because DEI, and they're roaming around this digital gamer space where they basically keep bumping into the gamers. I'm just gonna let something out right now that's very obvious from moment one, and it keeps going throughout the thing. There is a clear hatred for the Star Trek fans and like gamers and stuff this way. Like there's a big, you can tell there's a chip on the shoulder of whoever wrote this for that, because there's a lot of scenes written that clearly have that kind of, oh, we're trying, oh, the fans are the problem, not because the first one had where it was just one fan that was going, insane, and everybody's like, yeah, there's, and he wasn't even going insane. He was just going insane in his own video game world. So again, most people can kind of be like, yeah, if you played in a little VR world that you control everything that works, who wouldn't be going a little insane in there? This one wants to be darker and edgier and wants this tone of complete and utter like they want you to feel bad for the AI people. They really do. There's literally a scene where it's like AI people, like they're treating AI people like they're treating the Navi in Avatar. Like it's like they were living people. This is just digital code. You could always copy them. Nobody seems to remember that like you could, like with digital and stuff, you could probably copy the code somewhere else. I think later they kind of admit that, but anyway. So then we get to this. This guy in the first, his name is Jimmy Simpson. I can't remember what his name is in the show. That kind of should tell you something too. If I can't remember their names outside their actors' names, that's kind of saying something too about how important they were to people who used to like the other one. So this guy is basically every gamer CEO. You could make him any, some articles say he's one guy, the other articles say he's another guy. If you watch it, you're not going to see either one. So, it's not like that big of a thing, but the internet, of course, will make it into he's supposed to be that one. No, he's supposed to be that one. Anyway, so I liked him in the first one better because he was a real like tech guy that was a CEO. Like he didn't really care what Robert Daly in the last one was doing. He didn't really care like that one of his employees was creating an AI video game basically. Like he didn't really care that much. He was like, it's personal time. He's a really good employee. He's able to do it. This one though, there's clearly a different change of tone here because they've decided he is the villain. He is a mustache twirling James Bond villain. They might as well have him turn around in a chair with petting a cat because it's like hammed up to a level that I don't think I've seen this actor play the same role in Person of Interest, and I think he did it better there. He plays the tech CEO who's trying to stop the AI versions of his office mates because they're technically made illegal in this thing because other people used it for deepfake reasons, and that became an illegal thing. And I know this is technically too, but the show doesn't really want to dive into all that stuff. It kind of just wants to focus on you're the problem, not a. It's like, okay, but I think there's some equal blame here, because Robert Daly did it, and then and then she ends up basically doing the same thing later. She basically ends up putting them all in her mind to be on her whim later. So it's kind of like, yeah, as long as it's switched from Robert Daly to her, I guess it's fine. So he's the discount villain, and I'll just quickly tell you what happens with him. So he basically kills Billy Magnuson here, who I think is an underrated actor. I'm gonna say he's underrated. He's not like him being given the right roles. If you give him more of like a Billy Zabka thing from Karate Kid, if you give him more of those roles and less of this like, you know what I mean. Watch the movie and watch the show and watch other movies he's in and tell me you don't see the type of person they're writing him as. And I don't think it really suits him. I think he needs to be like Adam Scott from Step Brothers. I think it would really work if he was Adam Scott from Step Brothers more, but in more things. But he's decided he has a niche, so I guess I'm supposed to be okay with it. I guess I'm not, but anyway. So he dies because the discount tech guy, the gamer CEO basically kills him in the game. And again, they try to make it such a big deal, but it's like he's AI. There's probably a way to bring him back. He died in the video game, and they basically say, "Oh well, if they die in the video game, they just die forever." It's like, okay. Tell me if the main characters died in there. They found a way around the death of Robert Daly. They'll find a way. Oh, and then I wanted to get to that too. That needed to be said too. So Robert Daly is not dead in this. He is dead, but digitally he's still alive. They basically in the end say that using the same technology that he used to put them in, the CEO guy needed him to create alternate universes and stuff for this video game they're creating, but he's only one guy and he couldn't do all the coding himself. So rather than, I guess, hiring a team, no, really, that was never discussed. They never discussed hiring a team of coders or anything to work on it. It's just kind of been It's just kind of been made like, okay, I guess we have to make a deep fake version of you then, because to do all the coding, because I guess it kind of makes it wonder, then why did we need him then? But and then why do we need employees later if the the deepfake AI is making all the coding? Um, anyway, so that's kind of the thing, is that so he gets brought back. You could tell it's because they realized that Robert Daly, played by Jesse Plemons, was the best thing about it. They needed to bring him back, and they basically bring him back in AI form just to die again. They basically bring him back. He gets a little weird and pervy with the girl, and then he dies. The end. Like that's like he's an AI version, and he offers her a chance to be in her real life. But okay, so here's a little confusion that happens later. So she in real life, her real life version gets hit by a car trying to stop him from trying to stop the CEO guy from deleting them in the game. Essentially, they call it killing, I call it deleting, whatever, because again they're AI digital code. They're not. So basically, she gets hit by the real life version of her gets hit by a car, and she's now in a coma and brain dead. And basically, using sci-fi Black Mirror technology, they basically are able to send the AI version into the real life version's mind, and it can be a whole body. And then later they do that where they end up having the AI version of her and the AI version of all her friends in her head. And they treat it like a sitcom kind of thing, but it's like, isn't it the exact same thing? Like, you're keeping these people hostage in your mind the same way Robert Daly was keeping them hostage in his imagination video game. It feels like the same kind of thing, but it's fine as long as it's her, I guess. I don't know. And you just look at this poster here. My gosh, like the last one had so much, like, look at that. Like, you can see the old Star Trek just dripping off of that. Look at this. Tell me for 1 minute that's not obviously supposed to be the Star Trek Discovery crew. And why I wanted to talk about this was because because of I was watching an article of the Katy Perry space flight thing that only lasted like 10, maybe like 5 to 10 minutes. So I was watching it. I'm like, and as I was watching, it's like, oh, that reminded me of that. So I want to do that. And again, it's not that like different either if you think about it. Like it's like there's like no stakes for this either, but they treat it like there's stakes. And same thing with this. It's like, okay, come on. Like let's come on now. Let's realize that there's some, I don't know. But again, maybe they could do a sequel, and they could have Katy Perry guest star, and have her like just run around the digital Star Trek world and be like, "This is so incredible! Buy my albums! This is so incredible! Buy my albums!" Anyway, so then you get this here. This is their attempt at '60s Star Trek. It's not doing this again. It comes across more like, it looks more like the 2001 inspired Star Trek. I don't mean year, I mean the movie. Like the movie 2001. It feels like it's like very Kubrick-esque when it should have been Star Trek-esque. And then if you thought that was ridiculous, my gosh, if you thought that was ridiculous, they literally have a castaway. They literally have a castaway moment where the AI version of the CEO is still alive somehow because the reboot of the system kept him there, showing again that death doesn't really matter. Because again, if you can die in the last one and be brought back to life, then so can Billy Magnuson. But he's not. He has to be dead forever, I guess, because she didn't like him that much. So anyway, so they literally even have, I am not joking, they literally have a rock that he paints a face on, just like Wilson. And the joke is that he's very weird with it, is all I'm gonna say. He's very weird with it. And they keep going with this joke, like it's supposed to be funnier the more they do it. It's like, yeah, Family Guy did that joke what, 10 years, 5 years ago. So, like, put in the comments, what you, when that cutaway gag with Castaway happened. Not the episode of Castaway, the cutaway gag that happened earlier. And tell me what year that was. Because I don't really remember the exact year right now. So then we have this guy. He's only here. He doesn't really have that great of a purpose in the ship. He's basically, just like there. I don't know, that's kind of the thing with this. Not all the characters in the video game world could have been switched, and it would have been the same character. Like, he could have handed it to the guy intern that the CEO keeps giving coffee orders to. Because you get it. DEI reasons. I don't know. I don't know. It's the writing of this is very hard to follow, and it doesn't even have that Black Mirror edge anymore. It doesn't even have that Black Mirror good writing. It just kind of has it feels like a fan film created. It doesn't feel like Black Mirror. It feels like a fan film that was created by a 21-year-old or something in college. There's this one. She's the green girl from Pike. She does things. Her real life counterpart does things. Again, you could have had her the one. That's another thing too. Since basically death is not a thing that matters in this show, it's especially this one. I mean, you brought Robert Daly back. You brought the AI version of the CEO back. You still have the girl alive still, even though you still have her alive still. So death doesn't really matter. It's like Marvel movies that way. Death doesn't really seem to matter. It's just kind of again, But again, if you really wanted, if you want to do a sequel, if you want to do a sequel to this, all I'm saying is, maybe they should be the next AI crew. Another guy does an AI crew of them or something. That would be funny. And have them their exact same way. Have that one that's you're not taking it seriously enough, or you're in space for 11 minutes. Sorry, people aren't seeing you like Buzz Aldrin. So anyway, so then basically the show just, it really lets you down afterward, and it basically the problem with this is that it just has no energy to it. It's got no energy to it, because it just feels like I've heard the term by committee movies thrown around a lot, and I think this is definitely a by committee sequel. This is definitely a by committee sequel. Not that all the people are clamoring for it. No, that the studio said, this did well. We got a lot of favoritism from the last one. So therefore we should do a sequel to that one. It's okay, well, what should we do with the sequel? I don't know. Just, do something about Star Trek Discovery, yell at the Star Trek fans, call them all losers. They cut to the same bin of Star Trek memorabilia, probably 2 or 3 times. And they keep saying, oh, how much of garbage it is, or oh, how much of... Again, I know they have a Space Wars or whatever in this thing. I know they have a different name for it, but you can tell it's basically Star Trek. And again, you can tell, like I said earlier, you can tell there's a clear, concerted effort to make, this, to make this yelling at Star Trek fans, yelling at gamers, yelling at this, yelling at that. And again, I would have loved to have seen the discount Star Trek Wars, but with gamers instead of it. And I feel like they didn't really... Again, if you didn't kill Robert Daly just to bring him back, if you had just kept him alive, because again, that's the problem. The first one was supposed to be a self-contained thing. I'm sorry, Black Mirror writers. Now you're probably going to have to open every story up for a potential sequel now, so the studio could be we're going to need you to sequel that and that and that. Can't wait to see the remember was it called Waldorf incident? That one about the cartoon character that became president because of I don't know, social media, I guess they were saying. Enjoyed seeing the sequel of that, I'm sure, of the Waldorf. Again, if I'm saying it wrong, put it in the comments. Put in the comments what I'm how I'm supposed to be saying what the real name of it is. Um, you'll probably see like Waldorf impeachment, or like or Waldorf's second term, or even probably being even more timely, Waldorf's third term. you know, because they're read the articles about it and tell me Hollywood wouldn't go that way. Again, there's not a lot of like super like DEI stuff in this, but there is enough to be like, oh yeah, that was put in because of that. Oh yeah, that was put in because of that. And the CEO guy goes to jail because he tried to kill D. I remember there was this joke in Ted where it reminds me of the joke from Ted at the end where they were jailing the guy who was chasing Ted, the teddy bear, um, and they were jailing him, and then they said you committed crimes against a teddy bear, to where people were like, wait, wait, hold on a second here. Hold on wait, that doesn't make sense. And then they said how stupid that was, and released him immediately. I feel like that's the same kind of thing here. Like you were threatening the lives of digital AI beings. I sentence you to, and maybe the charges are more for the, or more. But again, they say there's a law in this universe that basically allows it to happen. It doesn't allow it, but it basically says like you're not supposed to do the thing. And it just would have been nice to go into more detail of that, maybe see the world around that, maybe see like the complications around that. But who knows, maybe there'll be another Black Mirror episode in like season 30. Season 30, how that bill we talked about in season 7 came to be, because we need ratings, Dan. We need ratings so badly because we keep doing the DEI stuff with every other one. And again, watch the other one. I didn't watch a lot of the other ones. I might watch the one with Rashida Jones. I might watch there's another one I might watch. I don't know. I'll probably end up not, because this is the only one I was basically wanting to watch it was for this, to be able to review it. And so it's just like, and just the fact that instead of doing Star Trek, like references, you're doing Castaway references. Like Hollywood's like, okay, we need another older, and I love how Hollywood keeps going backward. Like it's like, because they have nothing right now that's like a popular enough that they can be like, here's a reference to that, because everything now isn't really TV show and movie wise isn't really doing well. So it's kind of like it's basically like put another movie in, do it, put another movie in of like, again, you could, if you're not going to do Star Trek this much, just base it off of Star Wars then, go after the Star Wars sector. Trust me, the Star Wars fans would probably love to see Black Mirror, roast, probably go after like the style and stuff of that, And again, it's just hysterical that they have their own Wilson. Like I thought it as soon as they said he's trapped on like this alien planet, but I thought, oh come on, he's on a planet. They're not going to do the Castaway thing. He's not on an island. They did. They literally did the rock and the painted face and and the spearing the fish thing and again he spears this rubbery squid thing that looks like like giant pool noodles were duct taped together. It does not look that great, but again, world building. Okay. It doesn't look that great, is all I'm saying. So overall, it's just not like, and again, I know I said this a couple times, but the next sequel should be Robert Daly has another AI out there that he like programmed just in case. Come on, tell me Black Mirror wouldn't do it. And he watches the news and decides that he's going to create a new game thing, but just with the 11-minute ones this time, and have them play themselves too. Like that I think that would be very entertaining to see. Like have like Katy Perry do like the Katy Perry thing of like buy my album, like I said before. I don't know. Like I think there's an opportunity there of like having like the Robert Daly guy, and he creates, and I know he's dead. I know the other AI version of him is dead, and I know the other AI version of him is dead. But if he can bring him back, like, gosh, like 3 times now, like if we can bring it back 3 times, why not? Why not bring him back another time and just have where he watches the new, like, the AI version was scouring through the internet to find its next like, make it like a computer virus thing. Like, the AI version of him has become essentially a computer virus, and he's like searching the internet for like his next group of prisoners in the AI game thing, and he decides, oh, I like, he watches the Blue Origin thing that happens, and he's like, that one, I want that one, and then he programs them the exact way that they come across. So overall, it's but besides that, that's what there you go, Netflix. I gave you a sequel. I gave you a sequel idea there. You can have where the Robert Daly guy has the Blue Origin female crew in the discount video game world. And he could have had where he created an AI version of himself because he knew somehow he was going to be killed, so he created another version of himself that's been hiding as a different avatar for a while. And then that avatar grabs them for that universe. Just saying. And then maybe Wilson can, maybe you could even have since he loved Castaway so much, maybe Wilson can return. Who knows? But the point is that's there. Netflix gave you a sequel idea, so it's not that great. It's really not that great. It's a letdown from the first one. There's the good first one, and here's the really bad sequel. So again, I think you could shut the book on her and the crew, put them on, and then focus on the new crew. The Blue Origin females, question mark. Kidding, but kind of kidding a little bit. Not really. But I'm kidding a tiny bit. So yeah. So overall, it's not that great of a thing. It's definitely a sequel by committee, like I said before, and just when are they gonna just stop, bashing Star Trek fans? When are they just gonna say enough's enough? We're not gonna keep bashing you. We're not gonna keep treating you like you're this horrible group of people that can't be reasoned with or something. Again, your fans aren't something to reason with. That's the problem Hollywood has. They keep treating it like fandom is something you got to reason with. No, just create good shows and movies, and your fans will be happy. Create all this stupid stuff that people don't like, and these sequels nobody wants, and these reboots nobody wants. And again, I know I just pitched a sequel idea, but again, I'm saying that mostly as a joke, kinda. I'm not saying I wouldn't watch it, and I'm not saying I wouldn't do a review on how much I like it. I'm just saying, I'm giving you an idea, Netflix, giving you an idea. So thank you, and thank you for clicking onto the thing. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.